What's going on, everyone? How's it going today? Well, it's a pretty nice and cool day here in Central Florida. Well, I received an email about the new Makita one-handed compact reciprocating saw. Not too long, I think a couple days ago I got this. Now, this tool is all new. It was shown off on Makita Japan's Instagram page, and Makita's been pretty late to the party with a one-handed reciprocating saw. Now, I'm not a huge fan of one-handed recip saws myself. I've had a few in the past. I know Zach has the Milwaukee M18 Fuel. I have had the M12 Fuel in the past as well. And they're great saws. It's just I prefer the two-handed ones myself. But I do know that they're very handy to have if you're doing like plumbing or electrical. Being able to hold something in one hand and cut with the other hand is pretty much invaluable. Now, this saw is not even technically out yet. I could find it for sale really anywhere. But I wanted to quick compare some of the big brands here, Milwaukee, DeWalt, and I've also got Flex in here as well too, kind of just comparing the few specs that were given from all of the brands. Now, I'm not really sure what to think of this kind of handguard here from Makita. Makita is the only one that has this, and the Makita saw is the most unique, where if you look at all of the competitors here from DeWalt, Milwaukee, and Makita, or sorry, Milwaukee, DeWalt, and Flex, they all have this kind of, shaped design here, where the actual cutting side is kind of a bit more forward facing than the Makita. So looking at the DeWalt up here, it's going to be a little more flatter like the Makita, but it's kind of going to have that motor, kind of that hump there on the top where that motor is, as well as the Flex here, which is going to be very similar to, I guess it's kind of similar in between like the DeWalt and the Milwaukee. But anyways, getting back to the Makita here, it's got some great specs. So it's got a 7/8 inch stroke length, and it's also, as far as I can tell, all the other brands are not really showing the strokes per minute except Flex and I believe DeWalt. It's showing 3,100 strokes per minute with, of course, that 7/8 inch stroke length. And everyone's claiming, 50 something percent faster cutting than the competitors, which, of course, is going to be, take that with a grain of salt. They all have their own, we're comparing it against their slowest reciprocating saws versus our newest saw. They're doing one of those, of course, so not always super accurate. Now, I will say the Milwaukee is easily the largest and heaviest out of all of these saws, just from looking at the specs really quick. Not saying that's a bad thing in any way. This thing is definitely a beast. I have used this saw in the past. It is definitely an excellent one-hand reciprocating saw. When it comes to, Milwaukee, the fuel line is always on another level. Now, I just wish they would talk about, the stroke length on here. Sorry, the strokes per minute. They do have, of course, a 7/8 inch stroke length, which is pretty standard among most of these one-hand reciprocating saws. But the Milwaukee is the same price. I think it's like 169, 179 as the Makita. Whereas then you got the DeWalt, which is going to be in that atomic line, which they're trying to go for a more compact, lighter tool. Some of the stuff is, awesome. Some of the stuff is okay from DeWalt. They're claiming it's going to be lighter, more compact. They're not aiming for that much power too much anymore. They're going a little bit more different direction with the atomic stuff. Now we're showing only 2,800 strokes per minute, or about 300 strokes per minute slower than the Makita. And then the Milwaukee doesn't have one listed on the website. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a slower saw. Once you put these things under load, that all can change. So it's all going to matter about, speed plus torque there. And then, of course, throw in stroke length as well, too. And that's how you're going to find your fastest saw. Now, I want to throw in the Flex on this comparison here, too. The Flex is going to be one of the cheaper ones, actually, believe it or not. Coming in, I searched at Milo's. It was actually $199 in a kit. So only about 40 bucks more, I get a battery and charger. Not a bad deal there. You also currently, if you buy the next couple days here before the end of the year, you do get a lifetime warranty on the battery, charger, and tool. Now, the Flex is claiming a longer stroke length. In my experience testing out reciprocating saws, the longer stroke length generally means a faster tool because it can not only, put that blade out farther and bring it in tighter, but it can also push a lot of the chips out of the way. And that's a big thing when you're cutting into something. If you're getting a lot of those, wood chips, metal chips are staying in that blade and it can't clear those, you're going to slow your cutting speed down significantly. Also a no load speed of about 3,000 RPMs there. or strokes per minute. So it's, probably a better stroke length, and it's only 100 strokes per minute slower than the Makita, which under load that can be almost meaningless there unless you really test these out. So these are actually an interesting four pair of tools here. I like to get in and test them out all head to head. But just wanted to show you guys kind of what's going on, in the newer, one-handed reciprocating saw stuff going on right now. It's hard to compare specs exactly, but if I had to buy one, and kind of weird to say this, I would actually go with the Flex. It's kind of the best deal. It seems like it's got, great specs from what I can tell. I know the Milwaukee is probably a ton of power, but it's also going to be bulky. So you got pros and cons there. The Makita so far is untested. I will throw a link in the description below to find it over at Acme Tools. Not yet out yet, as far as I can tell. You can, of course, get it on back order right now. And then the DeWalt is, some are going to be somewhere in the middle. It's going to have, we don't know the stroke length on that, but it's going to have, somewhere in the middle there of strokes per minute. Probably a good deal, probably a good tool to find on a deal, if you ask me. So, when it comes to these, different tools here for one-handed reciprocating saws, it's going to be up in the air. You can kind of go with the brand you want, but, the Flex has got some cool features to it, and I'm hoping to see Flex kind of come out of its shell more in 2023, throw down some really cool tools, and let's see what happens. But, check out all these tools. They're worth checking out. I really want to get all these in for testing here soon. Just kind of want to do a quick preview on these tools, see what I could find out for the specs. And take care, guys. Hope you enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay safe out there.